welcome to the Division. And this video is the first in a series, and I don't know how frequent they're going to be, maybe one every couple of days or every week, depending on how I feel, where I'm going to give you Tempest's update, if you like, after patch 1.5 and continuing on the adventures I've had, the things I'm finding with the game, and discussing in this episode as well my gear set and my loadout and what I prefer and the reasons for that. I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth about that as well. Just a kind of, I don't know, more casual, offbeat kind of video rather than something completely specific, because the Division's endgame is quite remarkable. And the first thing to point out is that the daily missions, if I am again forcing myself to compare it to Destiny, are much more fulfilling. There's an awful lot more to do, and rewards are quite frequent and quite well balanced. Oh, being drowned out by a helicopter. Wherever that went. And it's fitting on links to a news van as well. It's like I'm reporting the news. And so what I mean by that is that in, say, about 8 to 10 hours gameplay, even less than that, you're probably going to find yourself at 256 with a full set of different parts of gear. It might take a little bit longer to get the gear sets that you particularly want, but that's not where it stops, because the drops, depending on, well, to some extent, not depending on what you're doing, because if you've changed to World Tier 5, everything is, give or take, the same kind of level of difficulty. The only really exceptions of those are doing things like the underground on challenging mode, and the incursions on the heroic mode, which kind of step up the whole thing a little bit more. But and also you'll find that even though the enemies have all gone up to level 34, if you go to an easier area of the city, they're not as challenging as the most challenging area of the city, which you unlock right at the end of the game, which is here. Let's see if I can get the name up. Sometimes I can't get the name of the district there. Hudson, I think, what's it? Says, come on. Midtown East, and also the one next to it is also quite a difficult zone. It's not giving me Murray Hill, I think. No, Turtle Bay and Midtown East. Those two sections there. Well, you'll get tougher enemies and everything's a little bit tougher. Right, so it does all the activities you can do in a daily. One of the ones which I showed you I started discussing in the 1.5 patch video I did, that I thought would be a good way for you to start, and it's been suggested by other YouTubers, is to do the kind of, you'll notice on the notice boards that are in each safe house. You can click on that and you'll get 3 kind of target locations to go around there and collect intel, but you also get good drops. And when you've completed all 3 of the little side missions, so I picked this one up for the Flatiron district, you'll see that I have 1, see there, 2 and 3. They're called search and destroy missions. So when you've completed all 3, you'll get returned to the safe house. You'll go to the safe house and you'll pick up a good 256 reward, and that's quite a good way to start getting those 3 first 256 rewards that you need for all the vendors and everything to start giving and selling 256 gear, and also getting them out of the loot crates and things like that. And then once you've got 3 pieces, you can then consider doing the daily missions. And I would suggest doing these daily missions, the ones that are in the story, first. And I would not suggest doing any of the incursions until you've got 256 as your gear score, and perhaps at least 1 set of one gear set working that you like, and weapons that you actually like. So now I'm going to go in and discuss what my loadout is, and I've been really fortunate today, because not only have I managed to get enough Phoenix credits to purchase a named sniper rifle. Here it is. It's called the sorry, that's the assault rifle, the Historian, and you can get the Historian in the main base in the underground area that you unlock at the end of the game, which also serves as a way to get to the underground DLC lift. And you'll see it there. It is quite expensive. It's something like 125, 130 Phoenix credits, but it's such a good rifle. I've been trying it out today, and I'm telling you, it's a killer. The stability is fantastic. The fire rate is off the roof. It just shoots so quickly, and it has some quite nice perks. Prepared damage is increased by 15% when more than 30 meters from the target. So obviously with a sniper rifle, you usually do that anyway. Intense first bullet of a magazine has a 25 chance to apply the on-fire status effects, but I haven't got that because I haven't got my electronics score up enough yet, because I'm still tweaking the gears set. And harmful, each hit has a chance to apply the bleed status, so it's quite a really kind of vicious weapon. And of course I've got some nice additions to it. And then today, as I was doing these kind of missions, one of the targets, the daily targets or weekly targets, actually turned up in my vicinity, and I managed to kill him. And he was bearing this assault rifle here, which is called the Caduceus or Caduceus, and I tried it out. It's absolutely fantastic. So it's got determined, which really good for the main talent I'm relying on at the moment, aside from the pulse, which is the turret. So it's allowing me to use the turret a lot quicker, because all of the skills, determined, competent and talented, are to do with skill power, you see. And this one, competent, is really nice, because weapon damage is increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using a skill. A lot of these talents are if you're not using skills, but that one is when you use a skill. Now, aside from that, I've almost got all the equipped gear that I actually wanted, and I wanted to do this video really when I'd managed to get all of it, but I thought, it's taking me so long to get the gloves at the moment. So I've got 2 alpha bridges, which basically give me the plus 100% health regen, which is really useful. Now, I see a lot of YouTube videos, I've mentioned this before, that go on and on about the Alpha Bridge as the DPS setup, and I don't really agree. I'm going to say why I don't agree, because if you are in, and I'm approaching this from experience from many other games, where I've used the same kind of setup, same kind of tactic. If you are relying just on one type of weapon, even if you're switching them out, so say you've got 2 assault rifles because you want the 6 talents, or you've got SMG, what you're doing is you're limiting the range where you can DPS. So with something like a submachine gun, it's from short to medium range. It's a ferocious weapon, and it's supposed to be up there charging with it. You know, it's not renowned for being very stable or very accurate at long ranges. An assault rifle is more medium to long range. You know, it's quite happy at medium range, but it tends to drop at long range. And then sniper rifles are really good at long range. So my setup I prefer in many games is to have an assault rifle which can cope with creatures or enemies rushing you to short range, like a shotgun has to reach you, so you still have got lethality from medium to short range with the assault rifle, because you're firing at them constantly and it has a higher fire rate than a shotgun. But from medium to long, your assault rifle becomes a little bit less useful, and so you can swap out your sniper rifle, which is the secondary I always have, and you can pop things off at a distance. Now, especially in this game, because in this game, when you're doing the challenging modes and things like that, you'll find that you get pushed back, otherwise you're going to get overwhelmed and down, especially when you're soloing. So one of the tactics, you want to keep retreating to cover further and further back, and that's when the sniper rifle really comes into its own, because not only does it pick off targets, but it tends to suppress targets and stop them charging you. Okay, there's some exceptions to some of the enemies that you'll encounter with shields and things, but then you can swap over to your assault rifle as they home in. Now, complementing all of that, I have started to collect my full set of Striker's Harness. Now, I've gone on about the Striker's Harness before. Let me just deconstruct that because I don't need it. The Striker set, because the Striker set already had 3, so I've got 20% stability. Now, that's really good when you're using an assault rifle. It calms the weapon down an awful lot. And 10% enemy armor damage, which is always useful against any enemy. But once I get 4, the big perk is every consecutive hit deals 1% more damage, and that stacks up to 100%. Missing shots drops bonus by 2%, and the bonus is reduced by 1% every second. But when you're using an assault rifle or a sniper rifle that is quick firing as the one I just managed to get, that you don't need to worry about that reduced by 1% every second, because you'll be gaining that and picking it up again. Especially also if you like secondary weapon as a light machine gun, perhaps as another kind of option, that would be really good. So what I'm favouring in terms of the loadouts that's possible is not to have an Alpha Bridge 4 set, which is going on about it's the best DPS. I don't agree. I don't agree because it cuts down your versatility. And DPS, I mean, if you're going on about just damage per second, yes, maybe it is. But when you're talking about versatility and usefulness in varying situations, no. So the Striker setup is much better to accompany that, because if you've got a high rate fire secondary weapon and a higher rate fire primary weapon, so if you've got an SMG or an assault rifle is your primary, a fast rate sniper rifle or an LMG as your secondary, then the Striker set really balances, adds to that really well, and it does make a difference when you're doing challenge level modes and things like that. Now, accompanying that, I also spoke about this briefly in the video I did, last video I did, which is about patch 5.1 or 1.5, wherever we are. Abilities. What I had intending to do was using Smart Cover. Now, Smart Cover is pretty good for beginners, and when you're leveling up and everything, it's a very good one. But turrets are extremely important. When you're soloing, I've found it's now my preference, and there are modifiers. You can use the one that I use, which increases turret's damage and pulses attack targets, or you can turn it to a flame one, but that has a reduced range. Or you could do the shock one if you wanted to. The last two are really good for group kind of events like incursions and things in particular situations, but I tend to leave it on this. Now, the reason I leave it on this is because turret acts as a good deterrent, a good distraction, and also gives you lots of covering fire. So when you have the setup I've got and I'm aiming for with the Striker 4 set, so let's just assume I've got it at this moment in time, with a turret and with a pulse, and signature skill, I tend to just leave it on this one, which is the one that really increases your DPS for the really big bosses. But I could use this one because that would help me to self-revive, so I might start trying to use that one a bit better. This one's very good if others are using these two and you're in a group, because it gives them extra health and things like that, so they can do more damage. Now, that's let's have a look at. You can look at see the weapons I've got, and the way they look, because they're named weapons, they have an individual look. I like this one because it's blue, and I like this one because it looks like a really nice rifle. And what I did today was I managed also, as you play Ubisoft games, so it doesn't really matter if you're playing The Division or you're playing Assassin's Creed. And I know I've been saying this is Ubisoft, but Massive Entertainment are the ones running the show now, and they're doing a really good job. Can't praise them enough. But it's still under the banner of Ubisoft because they were the ones who initially developed this project. So falling under the Ubisoft range of games, you also, if playing Assassin's Creed or any of the other Ubisoft titles, you will earn Ubisoft credits. And today I used some of those in the Ubisoft the Ubisoft store to buy some new items. So it was shirts and boots and things like that. And you can get the full kind of, you can get Splinter Cell sets and things like that because of the 30th anniversary of certain games from Ubisoft, and mix and match. And that's a great tip if you've got some Ubisoft credits already from playing other games and from playing a bit of The Division. Head to the Ubisoft store and you can buy various things, including Phoenix credits actually, which will help you get other bits and pieces from some of the specialist vendors in the end game. So let's kind of finish off this video, because by discussing some other things as I get some action going, because I know it's being a bit static there. Let's show you this damn assault rifle. Wow, look at that. Now I put a lot of stability bonuses and stuff on it with the mods. I've been, the things that you can add to the right. Fierce fire rate. The other thing, it has a bit of a kick to it, but with the additions I've used, it's calmed the rifle right down. And one thing I've noticed about it is it's quite a big, even though I'm using the extended magazine size, the actual normal magazine size of the gun is quite significantly larger than the AK-47 I was using the other day, a bit earlier on, before it dropped. Now, I'm going to show you, this is a really good example of why turrets are really useful. So, see, I've got 3 here. I could go wading in, but what I can do, if you have to be careful when you do this, but if you look up slightly and place it on cover, usually you get it on top cover. You see now they're all getting kind of distracted. Well, they were. See, that one is distracted by the turret. This one isn't because he's clocked me. You can do little tactics like that. You see, you can do an outflanking maneuver. You have to be careful when there's lots of enemies because they'll notice you. But you see how that one near the car was drawn to the turret. He was getting pinned down, and this could be very useful. So the turret not only doing damage, but just almost like having another an NPC with you that you could use to divide, conquer and divide. You see, and the enemy base that you're challenged with. Wow, it's been quite a long day today, lots of hours in The Division, so I'm very sorry for my stuttering, but let's carry on so I can show you a little bit more. Those will be in the building. I was looking at the mini-map. Of course, referring to the mini-map as you're going along, which is on the top left there, is quite important. It'll show you things that you can do. Things like, so we've got some more, it looks like we've got some more enemies up here. Maybe not. There, yes. So now I can demonstrate. So look, when you can climb up things. Well, it wouldn't let me do that. Let's show the tactic again. I don't want to get too close because I want to show you my sniper rifle. So you can actually just pop it on anything, really, and it'll get stuck like that. You see that? Now I'm going to make a bit of a runner because I want to show you how great this sniper rifle is. It really is really fantastic. I can't put it in cover there. As it stacks them there. Pop this. So if I can find them before they die. See that? Look at how smooth. It's so smooth. Like, it doesn't pop like the SOCOMs. The SOCOMs tend to pop because they've got such a high rate of fire. And this thing doesn't. It's so stable. I can't get over it. Yeah, it's hardly moving. Well, anyway, I'm going to finish off with this. Not like this thing. This thing's a bit of a kick. There you go. These assault rifles are good at closing in, but once you get to like really short range, they tend to be a bit troublesome. They're not really designed for that. You kind of stuck. I mean, if you go one-on-one with a shotgun, you're bound to really lose out, because although you're firing, it's kind of hard to describe. No, something to do with the velocity of the bullets or something just goes down, or whatever it is. maybe I'm just making that up. But with a shotgun, one shot at that range, and you're kind of finished. So now I'm looking to go up. Looking to go up, and this is one of the great things about doing these daily missions, is you get to return to the city. I'm rushing around a bit because I'm trying to keep it entertaining for you. But when you're selling all the time in the world, and you can explore all these parts of the city that perhaps you overlooked before. So beautifully created. So let's go here. Well, this is not the way up. Guess I'm missing something. And you have little things to solve here, like this. Let's see, it might be around the back. Circumnavigate there. Yeah. It's also things you'll find that you go to stores and things again with electronic parts and stuff. Now, is this the way up? Yeah, here we go. So you see, you will explore and find these apartment entrances. And here we are, those are our bosses there. And some of it will be familiar because you will have been here, and other parts won't be. That's one of the great things about this game. That's what I can do. Pop. So you can see my general target. Now at this range I could pop out the old... Those are quite tough enemies. And this is why I'm missing the full... So it doesn't really like that much. Not what I wanted to do at all. I'm going to rely on grenades here, I think, a bit. And you see that all the time, that little turret is doing its work. I can put another one there. But they are tough. There's an awful lot of medipacks here. There you go. Now I'm going to have some more. Hopefully they'll go to the same place. There we go. It's how quick to fire it on that landmine. Blind fighting there. So the alpha bridge set is keeping me alive a lot quicker. a lot more because the health regen goes up. See, there it goes. It takes a while to kick in. That's one down. This is so cute. There you go. Wow. So you see, when you're soloing, these things will help you get through some of the toughest challenges. That one was particularly tough. I had some really big 4 yellow barred light machine gun carriers there, so that was quite a tough one. But I got through it. And again, I would point out, if I had the full striker set, it would have been a lot easier. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Catch you later.